Questions? Answer.
Warning, the following audio may be disturbing to some. In 2015, 360,000 people died from drowning worldwide. It's the third leading cause of unintentional death. But drowning and so many other beach-related killers are preventable. I'm Morel.
I'm Neil.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Alec.
I'm Uday.
And we're question to answer. Let me walk you through our agenda. First, we have our problem, our solution, our market, our financials, and then our next steps. So after hearing about a lot of stories like the disturbing one we heard in the audio, we asked ourselves, how can we use a digital application to prevent injuries and fatalities from common beach-related dangers? This search led to a survey in which we found that 44% of people have been or know someone who's been injured at the beach, and 82% of our surveyors said that they would download an app that kept them up to date on beach-related hazards. Now I'm passing it off to Neil with our solution.
Thanks, Morel. So our solution is Poseidon. Poseidon takes individual beach experiences and uses them to warn people about beach hazards. Our core function for our app is self-reporting. When you log in, you'll be prompted to a main screen that has a beach and the self-reporting button. When you hit the self-reporting button, a number of categories will show up and your hazard will fall in one of them. Next, when you head back to the main screen, there are a number of different pin drops. Each pin drop represents a different hazard. To find out more information about the hazard, simply just tap the icon. A lot of the data we gain from here is from web scraping. Next, we wanted to incorporate user preferences such as familiar gestures and icons. For example, if you look at the top left, you'll see the three-lined icon, which most people think of a main menu. Or if you were to just swipe right, you would think a main menu. So we incorporated both of those in our product. Next, we also wanted to incorporate a familiar interface such as profile and settings to decrease the learning curve. Here's an example of our profile page. Next, I'm going to hand it off to Kelly for quality considerations.
Thanks, Neil. So, like Neil just said, we really wanted to focus on usability and maintainability as the main quality considerations. We wanted our app to be intuitive to use, which is why we incorporated many of the familiar features that you see in many apps today. Also, in order to incorporate the future features we want to add into our product, the code behind our product is really easy to update and change in order to implement the future features. Now on to improvements from feedback. In our survey, we actually found that 67% of people really wanted to see some sort of lifeguard translation in our app, which is why we created a page that has a graph of all the main symbols that a lifeguard uses to talk to each other. We also decluttered our app because when we were testing with our users, we found that the 4 tabs at the bottom were really distracting from the main purpose of the app, which was a self-reporting feature and the map that you see in the main screen. Now, I'd like to pass it off to Alec with the market considerations.
Thanks, Kelly. So we're going to be mainly targeting our users through Facebook ads. These will be directed mainly towards people who go to the beach a lot and have a history of that on their Facebook. And then when they go to the beach, the next time they'll remember about the ad they saw in our app, and they'll download the app to keep themselves safe at the beach. We'll also be reaching out to those beach towns so that we can get their help in incorporating our app into their local area. So we're going to be targeting the US to start off with because it's a market that we're very familiar with, and in fact 1/3 of people in the US go to the beach every single year. This gives us a total of 910 million beach visits per year that we can pull off of for our app's users. Later, we'll be targeting Mexico and the Caribbean for 90 million more visits per year. And eventually, we'd like to head worldwide, mainly targeting Southeast Asia and Australia because there's a lot of beach visits there and also a lot of hazards, which will encourage people to download the app even more. There's only one other app like ours on the market. This is Beach Safe. Unfortunately, it's only available in Australia. Our app will eventually be available worldwide. Currently, it's in the US only. But BeachSafe also lacks our main functionality of self-reporting, so that makes our app a lot better than BeachSafe. The other main competitor is raw data on websites. So this can be hard to use and difficult to interpret, so not a lot of people use this. And finally, there's word of mouth on the beach, people talking to each other saying, hey, there's some jellyfish over here, don't go in the water. This is slow, ineffective, and then it's like a game of telephone, a lot of details get lost. Poseidon takes all the best features of these with none of the downsides. Now I'll pass it off to Uday for our financial analysis.
Thanks, Alex. So I'm going to run you through how we plan to make money off of this app. The main source of revenue for us is going to be hosting this app on local beaches. There is an incentive for local governments to do this. If the app is hosted locally, the information we can provide to users is more real-time and more specific to their region rather than generalized versions. So we estimated around $70,000 in revenue will come from hosting locally. We also plan to make revenue off of ads. Now, the amount of money we'll make off of ads will grow exponentially as our user base grows exponentially. So just for the first year, we're predicting a little over $4,500 to come from ads. Our expenses, we calculated to be from ourselves marketing on other platforms, as well as the amount of money it'll cost for us to host our app on the iTunes Store, the Google Play Store, comes out to a little over $4,000 a year. So for year one, our total profits are a little over $70,000. Okay, this is our net profit loss graph. We estimated an initial startup cost of a little over $130,000, which puts us in the red for like the first 2 years. A little before 2 years at a break-even point, 1.83. Our internal rate of return is 46%, a little over 40,000 NPV after 3 years, 140,000 after 5 years. Keep in mind, this is an exponentially growing graph. It just looks linear because of the scaling. Now I'm going to pass it off to Morel for next steps.
Thanks, Uday. So going forward, we want to implement a live translating option on our app. So that will allow users to hold up their smartphones, scan a video of what the lifeguards are showing, and then it would show the users exactly what the lifeguards mean. We also want to incorporate a leaderboard aspect, which would work to incentivize the self-reporting aspect of the app. So Poseidon has the potential to save thousands of lives. No one should ever have to experience the pain of losing a loved one. Thank you. We're questions answered, and we're open to questions. Thank you for your question. For that, I'll pass it off to Alec.
So mainly the people will go in the water and they'll see like some jellyfish or sharks, and then hopefully not sharks, but they'll see a riptide or something, or a lifeguard can spot a riptide, and then they can go on the app and use the self-reporting. So when someone reports it and then they select which one it is, that will show up on everyone's screen as a pin in that spot. When they tap on the icon to see more information about what it is, we'll be going on some web scraping to get some predictions of what exactly it is. So if someone says there's a jellyfish here, we've got that information, so we know there's a jellyfish in that spot, but we don't know what it is. We'll be using web scraping to look at the weather, what season it is, what the region is here, and then ultimately determine what the most likely candidate for that jellyfish is, and then give some more web scraping to tell them a little bit about that jellyfish, how dangerous it is, and how to treat its stings.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but yeah.
So great pitch, guys. So it seems like this is almost like maybe like a Waze for like beaches, which is really cool. So like when I use Waze and I know like, oh, I can alert that there's a cop up there, I would like slow down. Like that's how my behavior would change. So like, how do you think in your ideal scenario that your users' behavior would change based off of the information that you give them?
Thank you for that question. I'll also pass that back to Alec.
So we're hoping that the users will see the reports and then not go in the water in that spot. So if there's a shark or jellyfish, they'll just know to avoid it. If there's a riptide, they can even pull their kids out of the water there. Or if the kids really want to go in the water, they can just tell them how to get out of a riptide, and that's another thing. They can tap on the riptide icon, and it'll also, through web scraping, give some information about how to get out of the riptides. So it's more of a preventative measure, but also we're giving them information of how to deal with these if you get the worst case scenario.